I've been thinking about this phrase, only connect, which I think is from Howard's End, but I'm not absolutely sure. Only connect. So it's used as kind of an aphorism quite a bit, isn't it, really? Or at least I've come across it quite a bit. As well, in all kinds of different ways to mean, you know, the key for a happy life, you know, connect with people, connect with purpose, connect with meaningful experiences, those kind of things. I've come across it as a kind of compositional imperative within certain arts practices. You know, if you're devising a piece of theatre, or if you're devising some piece of work sometimes. I found myself using that phrase, and I've come across it quite a bit, as I say, only connect. You know, you generate material and find the connections between the materials, so it produces a compositional whole of some kind. Only connect. Yeah, as a kind of general aphorism to do with truths, I suppose, or larger truths. You know what I mean? If you're James Clerk Maxwell and you're working with electricity and you're working with magnetism, that might be something you would say to yourself, only connect. If only I could connect these two theories, this set of, not theories, these set of experimental findings, the things that magnets do and the things that electricity does. And of course he did, and he came up with the various equations to do with electromagnetism. This idea that connecting in and of itself is a good thing, which I guess is fine, really. But there's some, you know, I guess this comes out of this book I was reading this morning, Joseph Ledoux's book called The Synaptic Self. Joseph Ledoux is a neuroscientist, and he's, I haven't read all of it yet, but it's pretty damn good, this book, actually. And it's about the relationship between the operations of synapses in the brain and the feelings of having a self. That's basically the theme of it, and you know, it's a completely physical, materialist account of psychology, which is really nice. But you know, in describing this brain thing and talking about synapses as connections, it's not that they're connecting anything, or rather, you know, it's not connections in the way that the wiring in our houses work as connections with switches in. You know, the wiring in my house connects the power supply, you know, which is ultimately, I don't know, some oil-fired station somewhere, connects the power supply through the switches to the various machines that I've got. And the wires and the switch in that are really not exactly insignificant, but they're not where the magic happens. You know, the magic happens in the machines at either end, the generating machine and the light machine, or the music producing machine at the other end of these wires. And the connection in that regard is, as I say, just a way of uniting these different machines. But the brain is very different, isn't it? You know, and I guess this is kind of the point that Joseph Ledoux is making. Is there isn't any machines at either end of the synapses. You know, we do talk about them as if, we talk about the brain as if it's got modules, and as if it's got language centres and all those kinds of things. But when you look at the modules, as it's sometimes called, or when you look at the language centres, it's just more connections. It's just another clump of connections, the same as everywhere else. There isn't any, you know, there's no machines, there's no objects to connect. There is just the connection. And what's significant, what makes the brain do the things it does, isn't the fact that there's lumps of machinery connected up in interesting ways. It's that the connections themselves form interesting patterns, or patterns that connect. The pattern that connects. I think that's Gregory Bates. It's the pattern of connectivity that's the significance. Connectivity connected to more connectivity. Not object connected to object, or machine connected to machine. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with that thought, but that thought is a pattern of connection. You know what I mean? It's just like a constellation, I guess. That's what I'm thinking of. Like a constellation. You know what I mean? A star constellation. It's kind of irrelevant that the stars happen to be big balls of burning gas. What makes a constellation is the pattern of connections. you're not really connecting up anything with any meat into it. You just, it's the meat. The meat comes out of the connection, or the connectivity itself. Only connection. There is only connection. Here I am in the world, and my experience in the world is my connection to the world. There is only the connection, and some of that connection is shared with some other people and some of it isn't. It's raining today.